So yeah, look, this is icky picky, but we're going to have to talk about it a little bit more because this is going to be a nice little transition into this. Oh dear, so it begins. Alrighty, the ultimate Arcane ship tier list. Okay, so what I have done to this is I have changed this red into actual relationship, because if characters are actually in a relationship, there's not really a lot to talk about. And then we've got S, A, B, C, we've got WTF, and then we've got absolutely not for things that are just absolutely unacceptable. Again, I probably know a few of these, but I can almost guarantee that there'll be some here that I may have never heard of. Okay, easy one to start off with. We've got CaitVi, or violin. Actual relationship, because yes, they're in an actual relationship by the end of the show. And probably, if we had to look at actual ships from Arcane, it's the one that makes the most sense. Obviously, because this is a relationship that the creators wanted to happen, so they put the most time and effort into writing it to make it make sense. For me, I mean, we don't have a lot of relationships to talk about, but Vi and Caitlyn and Jace and Mel, really good relationships in my opinion. I like them. They work for me. I'm a big supporter of this relationship, but then it's like, man, when we got that sex scene, it was absolutely like, it was like, okay, can we move on? Your sister's off playing bloody hot potatoes with grenades, and you're having a fun time in a prison cell. Like, this is what did the writers mean by this? Like, even me, I was like, why? This is a bit much. This is a little bit much. All right, CaitVi, it works for me. It's an actual relationship in the show that got a lot of attention, a lot of writing to make it make sense, to make it good, and that's great because it works. It works for me. These two are like polar opposites. They represent both sides of this ideological spectrum, Piltover and Zorn. And they come together and they make sweet, sweet music, and it's beautiful. And unfortunately, that has no actual representation to the story at large because there is no actual class conflict, much like the relationship happens in Season 2, where they break up and then just randomly get back together without an actual conversation about anything. It is so rushed. They split, and then they meet up again, and then they're back into it like nothing happened. Much like that, the Zorn-Piltover class conflict was just kind of like, you guys can figure it out. It works. It's fine. Okay, so Jayvik, I'm going to sit here for now until I actually rank it, so this is not where it's going to sit. Jace and Victor, you have the same situation as Vi and Caitlyn in regards to each being on like opposite sides of this ideology, Piltover and Zorn. You have Victor raising Jace in regards to his science, where Mel is like raising Jace in regards to his political aspirations. So you have that nice little element going on as well. But again, for me, it's more like these are like kind of like partners, as in work partners or brothers, quote unquote. They've known each other for a few years, sure. It's more of that friendship dynamic to me, more than an actual physical relationship. And that's also kind of something to quickly point out as well. Like, does shipping mean that these people that ship them just want to see them smush butts? Sometimes, not always. Sometimes it is more for the romance rather than a sexual relationship. But let's be completely frank and beans here. A lot of shippers, they want to see them smashing butts. I like Jayvik. Don't like how his entire life revolves around him in Season 2 and how he lost his agency. I wanted him to be the Machine Herald. I completely agree. I mean, they massacred Viktor as a character and the League of Legends canon character in the same breath, in the same sentence almost. Season 1, their relationship was way more brotherly. The shipping was subtle. Season 2 wasn't subtle at all. Yeah, look, I mean, Season 2, you had actual, like, lines of dialogue. Like, it was affection that held us together. You know, you have actual, like, lines where it's like, oh, man, Victor's been thinking about Jace's hammer a lot. Whereas in Season 1, you might get, like, a look, and it's like, ooh, what's that? It is a relationship that if you wanted to go down that path, there is a lot of actual thematic and story elements that make it make sense in an actual like romantic relationship. So in regards to like Jace, Victor as a actual relationship that can be shipped. It makes sense for me for a lot of elements, more than just, as said, a lot of shipping is just, I want to see them bloody rough and tumble with each other, right? There is a lot more going on. There is a lot more setup and build up in the show for that as well. It certainly just doesn't kind of come out, like, you can see why people would go down that path. So I'm kind of jumping between B and A for Jayvik. I'm going to be it. Just the way that it's dealt with in the show, the fact that they felt like, oh, we have to split Jace and Mel up so we can get the bloody love infinity symbolism going on, like, really spoiled whatever you had going on. Like, anything subtle, anything with layers that was set in season 1, much like most things in season 2, are just cast to the side. We got the Timebomb. Okay, so again, this is another one that is going to be kind of let down by how it's managed in the show. The reality is that, like, our Ekko and our Jinx are completely different people, as I said in my latest video, to the Ekko in episode 7 and Powder in episode 7. Our Ekko has half of a lifetime's worth of memories and experiences that do not involve Powder. He would not view Jinx as he does, like, in episode 7. It is whack. It is incredibly forced. The only real tie in Arcane that we have is that they were little kids together and they knew each other, right? Like, sure, if that's all that's required to kind of push a ship like that, then whatever. I like things that make a little bit more sense, more than just, oh, we can craft a cool name out of it. But if we look at Ekko as a character and Jinx as a character, do I think the ship works? No. I'm sorry. No, it doesn't. Ekko in Arcane has literally built, like, a entire gang and place to almost combat Jinx and what she and Silco do. And yes, most shippers are crazy AF, don't like that fandom. Yeah, I've dealt with some of them. The affection comment was okay, but Ep 8 was really shipping bait. Yeah, absolutely. I also don't like how Mel was treated as a beard by the fandom. Yeah, look, again, it's like they split them up for no real good reason, just so they can get a little bit more closer with the Jayvik stuff, in my opinion. I feel like episode 8 would have been the best episode in the series. Whoa. If they just set it up in the plot properly. I think it was cute at face value, but it just felt so strange. So are you talking about, like, the Jayvik stuff, or just in general, like the Victor change and all of that sort of stuff? Because to be honest, like, I'll be completely honest with you, not an anime girl. I don't think a single episode in season 2 could be considered the best episode in the series. That is just me. I hold season 1 in such high regard that I feel most, if not all, episodes would kind of be ranked, for me, above that. But let me know what you mean exactly by that. I mean episode 7, sorry. Right, okay. So I felt episode 7 would have been the best episode in the series if they just set it up in the plot properly. Yeah, and that's kind of what I'd mentioned in my video. It's like, it's nice. It's nice to see these things. It's nice to see Powder as she may have been. They fumble so many things, which I talk about in my video, and make things a little bit odd and whack and cringe and icky. But the major thing for me is the time waste of episode 7. Had that been episode 7, season 2 of a 5-season television show, I wouldn't have half as many issues with it. Yes, it breaks a lot of things. Yes, it ruins Silco's character completely. Yes, Ekko is gross when dealing with Powder. But at least it wouldn't have been a massive waste of time, because the season was incredibly rushed and we spent an entire 40-minute episode mucking about on the Timebomb and Jayvik ship, basically. It's okay. Yeah, season 1 was great, but I'm a sucker for an epic. I totally get that as well. I totally get that. I can kind of, in both hands, hold, like, a tight, focused, character-driven narrative and a big bombastic action oriented. Like I can enjoy both of those. And I get that. I just, the expectation for me was it wasn't going to kind of go down that path. So I was a little bit disappointed because again my expectations were so high after season 1, so high. Though I think honestly season 1 was better. Yeah, and look, that's just, there's a lot of elements that keep season 1 so tight, and I can rewatch it and rewatch it and rewatch it and enjoy it every time. Season 2, there are some elements where I just kind of turn my brain off and I'm like, yeah, okay, this is happening. All right, can we get to the next thing that I'm interested in seeing? Whereas I don't think that really happens once. I can even the setup episode, like episode 1 and 2, all that setup, I can just eat it all up because there's so many like little bits and bobs, dialogue wise, character wise, that just kind of keep me going, much like a heavy, big epic action sequence or world ending story might. I personally think season 2 soundtrack was a tad stronger. No, I completely agree. It does help that there was 7 more songs in the season 2 soundtrack in regards to like the big heavily produced tracks, not the OST. So that definitely helps. It also helps that where season 1 had one big, to be fair, I'm thinking 2, you've got the Firelights introduction and then the Ekko and Jinx fight on the bridge. Like, you got 2 examples of like this music video section with animation style changes, and it's just so awesome. We get that like nearly every episode in season 2, right? So it's more noticeable, a lot of the music, because it is quite focused in season 2 as well, which is cool. It's good. Yeah, cool. So Ekko and Jinx, look, I think the shipping there, look, if we're dealing with Ekko and Jinx from League of Legends lore, a little bit different. The actual Timebomb, it's a little bit different, but we're talking about Arcane here. So for me, again, the Ekko that we know in Arcane and the Jinx that we know in Arcane, very different, very incompatible as well. Like, what is Ekko gonna take Jinx back to the bloody tree fort? I don't know. Like, you got to be pretty trusting, and we know Jinx is not completely mentally stable. Look, there's just a lot of elements there that just wouldn't work. Like, he would have to sacrifice a lot even just to make the relationship work. Is that even worth it? Yes. Things like that are important. So look, for me, I'm sorry, Timebomb guy. I'm really sorry. Ekko is a character. Jinx is a character. Does their relationship work? Absolutely not. Absolutely not. I'm sorry, but it is just not functional to me, especially these 2 particular characters. But I did just see we've got Ekko and Powder. Now, the way I'm going to do this is I'm not going to say this is our Ekko who has taken over episode 7 Ekko's body and is being a gross little freak with Powder. What this is going to be is actual episode 7 Ekko and Powder. Does it work? Yeah, I like it. Absolutely. Like, they're both like kind of little tinkerers, inventors. They both would have grown up close to each other. Obviously, Ekko being raised by Benzo, and Powder being raised by Vander and potentially her brothers. I think it's really sweet. I like it, and it's just one of those things that makes it like nice, makes episode 7 nice. Do I like the episode? No. Do I think the episode works? No. This is cool though. I'm into it. I'm into it. Our Ekko and our Jinx though, absolutely not. I'm sorry. Absolutely not. I did see one when I was going through the Reddit looking for some of the things for the slideshow. There was one piece of fan art that I actually quite liked, but it probably does more to explain their potential relationship than a Timebomb would, where Ekko is like portrayed as Batman and Jinx is portrayed as the Joker. And it's like, yeah, that would be, if any relationship were to happen, it would be a non-sexual, non-romantic, like rivalry. I got very excited there. Rivalry between the two, as they both represent Again, it's the clashing ideologies, but it doesn't exactly work in regards to this story, because where it works for Jace and Victor and Vi and Caitlyn, they represent both cities. Ekko and Jinx represent the same city, unfortunately. But I like Ekko and Powder. It's nice. It makes sense to me. Those two particular characters, who are completely different individuals to our Ekko and our Jinx, might I add. Okay, so, look, Mel and Jace, I know they break up by the end, and that's shit, and I don't like it, but they are in, let's be frank and beans here, an actual relationship for the vast majority of the show. Does it work? Absolutely. Do you like it? Absolutely. As I've said many times, it is an actual layered relationship with a lot of stuff going on. Mel is playing Jace, but also teaching him and slowly falling for him, where Jace is just this young puppy dog love, like puppy love to Mel. For some reason, his forehead is magnetized to her lap. I don't know if he's got like, you know, maybe when disgusting freak wizard Viktor was giving him a rune, he like bloody put a magnet in his head or something that only works for Mel's lap, but you know, that seems to be a comfortable spot for him. It's fine. But yeah, look, it's an actual relationship, and I really like it. I like it. It works. Works for me. Jace is super hot. Mel is super hot. It works. That's all you need when it comes to a good ship. Okay. Okay, so we're going from a yahoo, I like this, to a uh-oh. So we got Silco and Vander.
Why are we still here? Just to suffer?
Alrighty, so I said it before, but this is no thank you, absolutely not. Like, this isn't a thing where it's like, oh, Ekko and Jinx are together, and it's like, well, that doesn't really work for their character, blah, blah, blah. Silco and Vander destroys whatever relationship they had previously, and just throws it into a disturbing blender. Remember, Vander tried to drown Silco and cut his face. This is crazy, guys. And this is even in episode 7, the good timeline, this still happens. Mel and Jace deserved, I completely agree, before even finishing your sentence, I completely agree. Mel and Jace deserved a better ending. Hated how he gaslighted her in episode 8. This led to many shippers saying Viktor was competing for Jace. Yeah, look, the reality is, to me at least, that the writers intentionally broke them up so Jace and Viktor could seem closer. Ridiculous. And the thing is Mel still defends Piltover and all this, so it's it was literally just some absolute nonsense. It almost felt like a writer self-inserted themselves because they didn't like the relationship and they preferred the ship. Something so frustrating. And it's Jace being well, you were playing me. It's yeah, bro. Yeah. Did you not realize this, my boy? Come on, man. You're meant to be smart. Yes, that's a sticking point and that's frustrating, but you can at least have a bloody conversation like adults instead of just throwing this potentially multi-year relationship just in the gutter. Come on, pal. I could see Mel and Jace slowly drifting apart while still loving each other. Overton also admitted on Twitter she intended for Mel and Jace to be boring. Yes, I saw that. That's kind of what I was talking about before, when writers that work on multi-million-dollar projects should, just maybe not answer every question that's asked on social media. Maybe there are some things that you should just kind of keep to yourself. That is one perfect example of it. Again, I was hinting to it before, but it's Amanda didn't like the relationship, and as she says, everything she does is super intentional, so anything she wrote is super intentional. Think about that for 5 bloody seconds, and you'll figure out a lot of people's frustrations with Season 2. He rages at her for manipulation, but never speaks a word against Caitlyn. Yeah, who used him to get someone out of prison who is potentially a not good person because they are in prison. Obviously, we know Vi. We know that she was wrongfully put in there. We as an audience know that. Jace doesn't know that. Caitlyn doesn't know that. And it's also oh, you've been touched with the Arcane. I can't trust you, babe. The Arcane's bad. And it's my brother in Christ, you have a hextech Rune inside your arm. Your leg is being rotted away by the anomaly. You have made a deal with Wizard Viktor. I don't think you should give two shits about Mel having magic. Why didn't you save more people, brother? Dude, why didn't you? Why didn't, like, that's like asking, why didn't you have your hammer there? She didn't know shit, like, they couldn't have an actual fucking conversation. It's insane to me. It was all just nonsense being thrown at each other's face without an actual reasonable answer. Crazy. He also makes a railgun for Kate while saying hextech. Yeah. Yes. Insane. Insane, guys. And then, when he needs to defend Piltover, I'll make a couple big old turrets, but I can't make hextech rifles for anyone else. I can't make gauntlets for anyone else. Yeah. Alright, Jayce. Real clever guy you are. Ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous. But, more importantly, guys, so Silco and Vander. I am not fond of this ship at all. Silco was my favorite character. Vander is easily one of my favorite characters. They do not work at all together. No thank you. Again, as I say, it tears down any actual relationship that these two characters, rivalry relationship that these two characters have. And look, if you want to ship them, more power to you. I'll just silently vomit in my mouth if you do. League of Legends Jayce would have been hextech unsafe. Not my problem. Yeah, I mean, League of Legends Jayce wouldn't have pussied out when he got to Viktor's peace plantation. He would have killed every single evolved person there and then blatted Viktor because he thinks he's in the right, because Viktor is doing things he shouldn't be, so there's a lot more going on there than in the actual show. I was so excited when I saw, like, punished Jayce show up, and he kills Salo, and I'm like, oh damn, they're gonna do it. They've set up this lovely little peace plantation for Jayce to come in and literally murk everyone. No, they couldn't. They didn't. Lame. Whatever. But yeah, look, Silco Vander, yuck. Not a fan. There's shipper bait in episode 7. He lovingly holds on to Vander's shoulder and gives him a, "What's up, big boy?" He's Vander's little twink boy. No, thank you. No, thanks. Next, we have Jinx and Kaitlyn. What? What? Is this just a I want to see them smash booties ship? Because how does this relationship make sense at all? Jinx murdered Kaitlyn's mother. Guys, what the hell? Jinx murdered intentionally Kaitlyn's mother. I don't give two shits about what the brain-dead writers put in episode bloody 8 or 9, 8 I think it was, where Jinx is like, I didn't know your mum was there. Sorry. So sorry. I didn't know she was there. Jinx, babe. Jinx. The council member wouldn't be at council, bro. Yeah, you're mentally ill, babe, but what are you talking about? Oh, I didn't think the councilwoman would be at the council meeting. What the hell? And then Jinx, like, again, screw whatever nonsense they put in at the end of season 2 just to resolve their hatred for each other. Jinx, let's not forget, when she was being infused with Shimmer, which obviously seems like a horrendous process to go down, she doesn't look like she's having a good time. She is literally seeing herself, Powder, be replaced by Kaitlyn through her bloody hallucinations. She sees Singed. She sees Kaitlyn as Singed doing the horrible surgery. Like, dude, what? No. That's a WTF for me. That makes no, not at all. That doesn't work for me at all. Look, this is, to me at least, a clear example of they're two hot girls and they want to see them smash booties. Like, that's insane. The fact that Kaitlyn even forgives Jinx in season 2 is nuts to me. But them being in a romantic or sexual relationship, what? No, No thanks. We've got what I mentioned before. We've got the let's placate and keep everybody happy by having Jace, Mel, and Victor in a open relationship with each other. They even baited Silco. Yeah, like I said, yeah. They literally shipper baited Vander and Silco in episode 7. Nuts, bro. Nuts, man. Like, ugh. I rolled my eyes so hard, they popped out of my bloody skull when I saw that. Oh, darling, my big bear husband Vander taught me forgiveness. Oh, his writing skills is what put me over the edge. Oh, the one paragraph letter where he's like, I'm shit at this, I'm sorry, I went a little bit mad when I tried to actually murder you. Yeah. Weak. Pretty weak, I must say. Pretty weak. Okay. Jace, Mel, Victor. Look, I mean, like, a open relationship between the three, would that work? No. Like, I don't think Jace would be on board with a relationship like that. I don't think Victor would be on board with a relationship like that. Mel, like, maybe there could be some argument about, like, her being Noxian. Maybe she's more open to something like that. You know, you look at how Ambisa looks at, you know, sex and that kind of thing. But even then, like, Mel seems to be away from Noxus for a lot of her life. So I can't use that as, like, that might make it make sense. And again, like, Mel represents the political side of Jace's character, where Victor represents the science and exploration and innovation side of Jace. Both Mel and Victor being these kind of two elements of Jace. And again, those things kind of clash, especially with, you know, what Jace and Victor want to do that's right, and then what Jace and Mel want to do, which would be right for their people. I think that clashes way too much. Mel is like pushing for hextech weaponry and stuff like that, and Victor is so against it. So yeah, I don't think that's gonna work. I'm not gonna WTF it or absolutely not it. I'll just rank it quite low because, look, I get the ship, you know, trying to make everybody happy, trying to make the Jace and Mel people and the Jace and Victor people happy. I don't think it really works in regards to an actual relationship. Like, again, Mel, there's maybe an argument should be open to that, but again, I don't know that for sure, and I feel Jace, and especially Victor, would not be chill with that. At least it's not like a icky, what the hell are we talking about one. That's nice. Got a little bit of a break. Caitlyn, Maddie. Yeah, I mean, like, this should be up here because they are actually an item in the show that does actually last many episodes. Obviously, Maddie is playing Caitlyn. She's a Noxian plant, so it's not really a good relationship. Literally, she's being played, and again, there's no real setup to her being a Noxian spy, aside from the fact that she says Noxus one time, and she does the Noxian salute first, which is something a spy should not do. A little bit cringe, but again, they are actually together. They are actually an item in the show. So as much as I like or dislike it, doesn't really matter in regards to my tier list, at least. If Maddie had an actual arc, I think she would have been liked so much more. 100%. Imagine if she was from Piltover working for Camille versus Ambisa. And I mean, they set up the family, don't they? If I remember correctly. They're like in the council chamber, both like twice, when Ambisa is doing her speech and then when Jayce is doing her speech. Am I correct there? They're like the wearing white, blonde, and white, very pale people. I might be mixing up my characters there. Let me know. But yeah, look, like again, if it was more of a House Feros actually makes Mel wealthy. Yeah. Cool. Because I believe Camille, I might even be pronouncing that wrong, but she's like a newer, and I say newer as in like released in the last like 8 years for League of Legends. So I don't know a huge amount about her, but yeah, I did notice the family there. At the very least, they could have had one or two things where on a rewatch you go, oh, how did I miss that? of course, like, or, oh, that's a bit sus. You know, like, for example, same scene, same setup. The task force and Caitlyn and Vi, they meet up with, I forget his name, Smeech's accountant. The dolls come down, right? Now, instead of showing Maddie being terrified like a little small child, you could have had Loris or even Steb, because this would have been more noticeable if stoic, stone-faced Steb was a little bit shocked or taken back by it, and then Maddie, the doe-eyed, innocent young girl, was just like had no effect on her. Like, she wasn't shocked or frightened or anything at the surprise, right? Or you have even again the same sequence where Maddie is all scared, and then Loris goes up and goes, "Oh, everything's going to be okay," and pats her on the shoulder as it does in the show. And then we could have as Loris leaves or walks away, a quick cut of Maddie very quickly going from like I'm scared face to just like a stone normal face, right? Like just something where it's like, oh, how did I miss that? Or as you're watching it the first time, you could be like, that seems a little bit sus. Whereas the things, like I say, they did literally nothing, because anything they tried to do is pathetic. If she gets hextech, then Jace and Victor really did die for nothing. Good God. Yeah, well, seems like a lot of characters died for nothing in the show. Ha ha, boom boom.
You serious?
I don't want to go too far. I don't want to get spoiled by some of these. I'm just focusing down here. So Skye and Viktor. I mean, there's definitely a relationship that could work, right? Both very interested in the same, if not similar things. God, I don't really actually have much to say about their relationship, because again, like the most we get from Skye and Viktor is what amounts to potentially not even Skye, right? Like in season 2, what we see of Skye could be Viktor's humanity. It could be the Arcane fooling Viktor, like forcing him down a particular path by just pretending to be Skye and being like, "Oh, come here, Viktor. Oh, we've never ever seen such damage before, Viktor." You know, like there's many things it could have been, so we don't really like have concrete stuff on Skye. But Skye was into Vic. Skye was like, before she gets ashed away, she was like, you know, looks like she was going to ask him out on a date, you know. Would Viktor accepted? Yeah, I think he would have, actually. And that probably would have helped with the your imperfections make you who you are, Viktor, because this beautiful, smart mama is asking you out on a date, brother. Perhaps there's a chance with me and Jayce after all. Yeah, I mean, it works for me. I don't see a huge amount of issue with it. Again, it's just the fact that I don't know Skye's character well enough to actually argue a lot for it. So I'll slip them into B with the Jayvik. The Jayvik people are going to be very upset with me. I'm so sorry. Mel and Sevika. Really? Really? I mean, trouble is, Sevika seems to, well, until she like flip-flops characters multiple times in season 2, Sevika is not fond of Piltover, and Mel is a council member in charge of the decisions that help Zorn be as horrible as it is. Obviously, the main culprit for that would be Heimerdinger, but you know, Mel still has some say. I saw one fan art of Melvika. Oh, I like the name at least, Melvika. And they drew Sevika as a caveman. What the hell? That comment threw me through a bit of a loop. We went on a bit of a roller coaster ride with that. How distressing and depressing and sad and tragic. OMG. OMG. If you're going to make fan art of a ship, surely you're like into that, right? Surely like you're going to spend all that time making that fan art. Like it's not a meme, right? Like you're making a piece of art in regards to shipping these two characters, and you make Sevika a caveman. Oh my god. Like a Neander tall? My god. Instead of a Neander short? Ridiculous. Mel and Sevika, that doesn't work for me. Look, again, the major thing there is Sevika is not fond of Piltover. Yes, they absolutely rush and flip-flop her by the end because they run out of time. But Sevika, that we know for the most time, hates Piltover, Piltovans, the Council, and Enforcers. Sorry, Mel is part of that. Are we saying that this is going to be like a hateful quote-unquote romantic relationship? This seems like because Sevika just seems like if you ship someone with Sevika, it seems like Sevika is the type of the individual you're into, and you want to see Sevika smash some booty. Totally, again, as I said at the start, that is totally chill. I prefer romantic relationships that make sense over just wanting to watch people have sexual intercorsio. So that doesn't really get me going. A relationship that makes sense, now that's hot. Oh my god, is that hot. So I'm gonna have to see that. I'm sorry, doesn't work for me. It's not like what are we doing? Like a Jinx and a Kaitlyn or a Silco and a Vander. But it's not a relationship that works for me in regards to the characters that we know. We've got Mel and Victor. Interesting. I feel like Victor is... sorry if I'm going to be a bit cringe here, but it feels to me Victor is a bit too much of a little subby wubby. Yes, Mel probably is into that. She's a very powerful woman. But I think Mel, whilst she likes being a strong, powerful woman, likes a big hammer man to throw her on bed and smash booties. I don't see that happening with Victor. He would probably literally die trying to lift Mel up and throw her onto the bed, if you know what I'm talking about. It doesn't really work for me. Again, it's just the two, they represent two dynamics of Jayce for me, and them getting together seems a little bit off base, ever so slightly off base to me. I don't think it's one that thematically doesn't make sense to me. It is possible for them to get together. Again, I don't think Mel and Seva would ever get together because of who they are. There is potential for Mel and Victor. Let's say Jayce falls on the wayside, but Mel sees the potential in Victor. But again, they have such ideological clashes when it comes to what you want to do with hextech. So yeah, I really don't think that's going to work. I'm going to have to slip that in C as well. Oh my god, we've got so many. Oh my god, we have so many. Oh my god, I was thinking maybe I'm halfway. Oh my god. Who's next? What? Silco and Victor, what? The two little sickly boys, the two little twinky sickly boys. Oh my god. I mean, Silco might be attracted to Victor's mind, right? Maybe. Look, it's going to sound weird, but, bear with me. It's like a Jinx, right? But not his daughter, right? It's one of those things where it's he could create things and his mind could be very attractive to someone like Silco. But frankly, and again, this is going to sound whack because they're down here in the absolutely not. Silco and Vander makes more sense than Silco and Victor. They're not going to go into absolutely not because it doesn't radically destroy them. But, yeah, that's a little bit of a dub tier for me. What crack were you smoking when you shipped that? Again, they are two little sickly twink boys. Okay. They're both from Zorn, right? They both want to see Zorn become or better itself. Well, arguable for Silco because he literally works to make Zorn worse. Yeah, I don't think... Again, it'll be the thing of Mel and Victor, right? No, so I think I should actually have that in C because it's the same of Mel and Victor. Silco would want to use Victor to create weapons and for power, where Victor would want to help people and not create weapons. I'll see it. I won't WTF it. I can see why maybe some people went down that path, but that is pretty whack to me, y'all. It doesn't really work at all. Again, you have such clashing ideology there. It's just, yeah. Yeah. Who is this? Jinx and Victor. Man, you got a screw loose or something? You got lots of problems. And they also have Techno Jesus Victor there, right? Because like this is also the question: what point of Victor are we taking for these characters, right? Like, is this chaos god entity split into Wizard Victor, split into Evolved Victor, smashing booties with Jinx? Is this Techno Victor in the Peace Plantation, who, like, he clearly, at this point, doesn't seem interested at all in anything of that nature. Probably he's so enlightened, OMG. He spoke to God, and God said, no, 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 chastity, baby, no, no, no. Anyway, Jinx and Victor, again, it is just such an ideology clash. That is actually a WTF for me. I really can't see that working at all. Like, Victor, especially this form of Victor, would, like, heal, quote-unquote, Jinx, and she'd turn into this just placid, bloody, characterless loser. Or goober, one might say. Yeah, that wouldn't work for me, and then obviously Victor as Victor and Jinx most assuredly would not work for me. They definitely don't vibe well together. Techno Jesus and Jinx, nah, that ain't happening in a million years. Sorry. It's not even overtly interesting in my opinion. Jinx and Sevika, oh. Yeah, trouble with that, I'm going to absolutely not that, because trouble with that is Sevika would have in part raised Powder into Jinx, so it's kind of like a motherly figure almost, because again, Silco being Jinx's father, Sevika being Silco's right hand, they were clearly would have been a lot of interaction together. Like one of the nicest moments between like Sevika and Silco is when Sevika gives her Silco, because she respects Silco, like a bit of advice about dealing with daughters. I'm sure that's not the first time that's happened, because she very quickly did it. It wasn't like this awkward thing that he just didn't take on board. Again, this seems like something that's happened before. So look, to me, Jinx and Sevika have too much of that bond already, that it just makes it weird. To me, it's not like you can say that like Silco and like raised Powder into Jinx and is like a father figure. With Sevika, it's a little bit more loosey-goosey, but again, the way that I look at these characters is like, nah, that's like absolutely not going to happen. Sevika, you know, she's got that mummy milf tanky wanky energy. Oh, goodness me. But yeah, kind of a bit of an oddball pick for that character. Tobias and Cassandra, I mean, like, look, they are literally in a actual relationship. Like, what do I have to say? Like, Tobias and Cassandra, it works. Cassandra is this, like, powerful matriarch, and Tobias is a little cuck beta boy. So it works. You know, not an insult to Tobias. Like, Cassandra wouldn't be into a big, bloody Vander type, I don't think. Cassandra, yeah, she is the boss. So Tobias kind of fills that, almost that more effeminate role in the relationship, and it works perfectly. Absolutely works perfectly. I don't really have or see any possible issue there. They work for each other. They're in an established relationship until Vi's sister murders Cassandra. Rip. Vi and Sevika. Okay. Reasonably interesting. Vi and Sevika. They kind of are. They kind of butt heads a lot. Right? And there isn't like this pre-existing bizarreness of like potentially Sevika helped raise this character. Again, Vi and Jinx are siblings, but we get into a little bit of loosey-goosey George R. Martin territory when we're dealing with who potentially raised an adopted kid away from the sister. I do not mind that. Like, I'm kind of looking at this like I would look at Sevika and Caitlyn. Again, it's like she hates Piltover, but at least Caitlyn's not a council member until she's like the leader of Piltover. But Vi and Sevika, I mean, I can see it. I could actually see that working. Again, Sevika's got the tanky mummy energy, and Vi is like heading almost towards that, or like a younger version of that. So if you're into like opposites attract, this wouldn't work, but I can see them at least smashing booties. Is that interesting to me? Not really. An argument could be made, so I'm not going to see it. I think that's a B. You know, I can see why people would ship it. I get it. It's chill. It's nothing horrendous to me. Who's this? Silco and Sevika. I mean, look. Yeah, look. I'm not against that. Personally, I think Silco's gay, but like that doesn't matter when it comes to shipping. Straight people will become gay and gay people will become straight, depending on what the ship is. But Silco and Sevika, yeah, I mean, I can see, as I said before, like there is potential that Sevika helped raise Jinx. Again, like Sevika has her own monster in season 2 when it comes to Jinx's mental break. So there is a lot of history there that we don't see. We get hints towards it in season 1. Their relationship is obviously quite rocky, but again, you have a woman, Jinx, who has attachment issues and is quite attached to Silco, her father figure, and if Sevika is smashing booties, then maybe that kind of gets in the way there. It's kind of like that angsty teen thing as well. So look, like, I can see that working. I don't really take issue with that. I don't think Silco would be into it, personally. But, you know, like I say, he's a sickly little twink boy. Maybe he wants a big mummy like Sevika to toss him around, you know. Mel and Lest, the furry, the cat lady, the furry from season 2. Look, I mean, like, we've got, like, piss all when it comes to Lest as a character. There would be some interest there because, like, Lest kind of likes playing people and Mel kind of likes playing people. To me, I think they would smash booties once or twice and then go, yeah, this isn't actually as exciting as we thought it would be, because I feel there are elements like a power dynamic that Mel is into and Lest would just, like, you know, be an actor. You know, it wouldn't really be real with Lest, in my opinion. Like, she's a player like Mel. She's a player. It would be one of those things like with Mel's relationship where it initiates as a scheme or a play and then slowly they develop feelings for each other. Maybe. Does the relationship work? I don't know Lest from a bar of soap, so I don't know what her aspirations are or what she wants. So yeah, I'm just going to see it because it just doesn't... I don't have enough to go off, so it's not something that I could kind of see happening. Like some of these, it's just like a, what? Okay, I guess those are two characters that have a conversation. Who's this? Silco and Singed. What? I mean, at this point, there's two characters in the same room, so we're shipping them, right? Like, that doesn't make any sense at all. I mean, like, maybe there's like, look, like, Silco has his aspirations and Singed has his aspirations, and they're working together to poison Zorn, I guess. I don't know. Because Singed does not give two shits about the people of Zorn. Let's be completely frank, he only cares about his daughter, where Silco at least pretends like he cares about the people of Zorn, when in reality he has kind of single-handedly turned it into a more horrific place than it was. Maybe Singed is into that. My read is he is not. And he is a tough one, I guess, to ship. Singed, because he is just like a work guy. It's not like Viktor, who has a lot going on, but you still can kind of imagine relationships there. Like, Singed is very one note, and it almost feels like he's like a Marcus in the fact that he had a love, and he had a kid, and something happened to that love, and now he's just like that's it. Like nothing else can kind of take over that. He's like so consumed with his daughter and saving his daughter that I don't think like him smashing booties or even being ever so slightly romantic with Silco would be of any interest to him at all, unless it could further his goals. But then again, I don't really see him being that kind of character. Like, he'd much rather like show off his work to someone like Ambisa to get access to things than smash booties with Silco to make shimmer. Doesn't work for me. Sorry, folks. Who have we got here? Jace and... No. Jace and Caitlyn. Oh, Jace is like her older brother. Yeah, they're not blood relatives, but let's remember Jace is much older than Caitlyn. Caitlyn is a young lady in season 1. Jace is like 25. Yeah, no, that's like, again, like, he's the Kiriman ward. They would have known each other, like, potentially most of Caitlyn's upbringing, she may have known Jace, and they have such, like, this brother-sister relationship with the nicknames and everything that it's like, yeah, no, like, they're not blood relatives, but it's another like Silco Vander, where it's like, yeah, they're not blood relatives, but like there is so much more going on there that to ship them would to just ruin the entire relationship dynamic that they already have. Yeah, like, look, like, especially if we're talking early, Jace is like the older brother by a long shot, and in season 1 she is like a little bit, or at least at the start of season 1 she's a little bit too young to be anyway, not fond of that pick, guys. That's alright though. Some of these are less cringe than others, but that's fine. Whoa, speaking of cringe, whoa, that just like magnetized itself to absolutely not. That's crazy how that happened. So we have... we have what we transitioned from back here, Yahoo Yahey, to the ship. Okay. Milo and Cleger. Are they blood relatives? We don't know that. We don't know that at all. They are seemingly similar age. Maybe just more kids that Vander adopted. Holy crap. The fact that, oh my god, the fact that people unironically ship this is like, dude. Do you remember Berries, Game of Thrones? How like when the twins were bumping booties, it was like disgusting and shocking and like, yo, WTF? Yeah, that's how I feel when I see this nonsense. Milo and Cleger, really? This is desperation, porn addiction level stuff, guys. Or I guess, the YouTube bots are gonna slam me now. Corn addiction. If you're addicted to eating cobs of corn on the internet, then you might ship Milo and Cleger because you are... This comes from a level of Reddit that I try to stay away from, right? This stuff is like, why are you even doing that? Like, why are you even shipping it? Yes, I agree. There is a little bit of shipper bait in episode 7, sorry. But that doesn't make it okay for you to actually ship them, guys. That's disgusting. No. Plus the fact is, we know more of Milo and Cleger as kids than we do in their little episode 7 bloody adventure, right? Sorry, but when I think Milo and Cleger, I think of episode 1 to 3 Milo and Cleger, not episode 7 Milo and Cleger. So that makes it even worse. Not only is it these adopted brothers, but they're bloody kids, man. Yuck. And then I know the picture there is of episode 7, but again, we don't know who those people are. How are you shipping strangers, my brother in Christ? Who's this? Ambisa and Sevika. No. Nah, because I feel Ambisa is into people that she can dominate, like even Rictus. Like, yeah, Rictus is a big boy. He's a big, strong boy, but I feel he also, Ambisa dominates him, right? Sevika also feels like she's into the dominating alpha element, so that's just like head clashy stuff. Like, again, what works with Vi and Sevika with me, and I say works in big quotation marks, is the age thing. Like, Vi is like getting to the point where Sevika is, where Ambisa has been there for years. Like, yeah, I'm not gonna WTF it, because again, I can see why people would ship that. But yeah, that ain't working. Sorry to say it, that ain't working out. Sorry. Grayson and Cassandra. What? Oh man, again, this is there are plenty here that are just like, oh, these two characters exist and are breathing.
Are you sure about that?
We can ship them. Grayson and Cassandra. So if we want to take this seriously, as I said I would, maybe there's an element there of, as I said before, Cassandra's the matriarch, right? And Tobias is the little beta boy that lets Cassandra do what she wants. Again, which is perfect. It works for their relationship. It absolutely is who Cassandra, I feel, would be married to. And let's say Cassandra's like, hey, that super hot sheriff, I want to smash some booty, Tobias. Tobias would be like, oh, yes, darling. Oh, can I watch from the closet again? Oh, tee. So, stranger things have happened. But, like, an actual, romantic relationship, maybe. And I say maybe in the fact of maybe there's, an old flair there. Right? Grayson at least knows the family. We get the flashback with Caitlyn. Does that mean anyone was in a relationship? Obviously, absolutely not. Absolutely not. But, yeah, it seems a bit off to me. It just seems a little bit off to me. Grayson is quite a, again, not as much as Ambisa and Seva, but feels like Grayson would be more into someone like Vander than someone like Cassandra. That's just me. That's just the vibe I get when I see a character like Grayson. Would they smash booties, though? Maybe. I can't rank them very highly for that. Again, that's not what I care about. So Mel and Allora, again, it's like the work buddies thing. Mel holds a position of great power over Allora, so it's weird. If you find it grotty or weird or gross or unattractive when a hyper successful, very powerful man dates a underling who is basically needs to keep this individual above them happy so then they can keep their job, if you find that stuff to be a little bit not into that, then it's the exact same thing here. It doesn't matter that they're both women. Mel holds so much more power over Allora that it's just a bit of a bizarre power dynamic instead of one that would make sense in a relationship, right? Like there's a power dynamic, quote unquote, between Vi and Caitlyn for very different reasons as there would be a power dynamic between Mel and Allora. Again, co-worker, underling, unwise. Caitlyn found that out the hard way with young Maddie. And yeah, I like the idea that Mel and Allora are in a professional relationship, and then them smashing booties or being romantic would kind of spoil that. What is this? Scar and Ste. Once again, we are in the territory of, well, this character is living and breathing, and they're in the same show, so maybe they'd be a cute couple. Oh my god. Okay. Two things. I don't know numpkus about Scar, and I don't know bupkus about Ste. How the hell am I supposed to rate a relationship between the two of them, man? Yeah. Look, this is desperation at its purest form. I know nothing, and neither, frankly, do you know much about Ste and Scar. This is literally just I like the design, that's cool. Let's see what happens when they each other. Like, dude, what are we doing? What conversation are they going to have? Ste literally says nothing, and Scar says the odd thing and then scowls half the time. What? Wow, what an interesting relationship, guys. Yeah, the fish man that doesn't say anything, and the bat guy that's grumpy all the time. Unless he's with his kid, then he's pretty chill. I can't WTF it or absolutely not, because it's what is there to even discuss here? Could they get together? Sure. Should they? No. 'Cause who are these people? God damn it, who are these goddamn people? What's this? Caitlyn, Vi, Maddie. We got another threesome going on here, folks. Caitlyn, Vi, Maddie. This would not work because I don't think Vi would ever share Caitlyn, and I don't think Caitlyn would ever share Vi. Because again, I do actually like their relationship. I'm not gonna lie to you. I ain't gonna lie to you. I do like Caitlyn and Vi together, and look, I don't think that would be an open relationship. Especially with the dangers that involves for someone like Caitlyn. Let's not forget, Caitlyn is the matriarch of the Kiriman estate, one of the most powerful and rich families in Piltover. Becomes dangerous doing silly nonsense like that. And look, the reality is would Maddie work in a relationship? No, because she's an evil Noxian spy. Doesn't matter if you like her freckles or you think she's a cutie woody little patootie. She's a piece of shit. So why are we shipping Maddie with anyone, guys? Like, again, it would be cool if there was some kind of character there, of course. Absolutely, it would be an interesting conversation. But the reality is Maddie is going to always be playing Caitlyn and Mel. Caitlyn and Vi. There isn't like some element to her as like, oh, maybe she could have changed her mind if this just happened, or if this didn't happen, Maddie would still be on the team. No. That's just not the reality that they set up in the show. So Maddie is a spy. Why would she be in a thruple with Caitlyn and Vi? Caitlyn wouldn't share Vi. Vi wouldn't share Caitlyn. Simple. Not going to happen. I don't think it's a WTF because, again, it's just that puppy dog thing of, oh, Maddie's really cute and I want to see her smash booties with Vi. Okay. Ooh, Sevika and Grayson. Interesting. The trouble is with this, of course, Sevika does not like Piltover. Sevika hates the enforcers, and Grayson is the sheriff. Now, Grayson is not Marcus level sheriff of, yeah, we're going to make your lives much worse. Well, actually, he's in Silco's back pocket, really. But Sevika, while Grayson is the sheriff, hates Piltover and hates the enforcers. Again, I'm not really into this, and I think that this is what works for some people when it comes to the Timebomb, the Arcane Timebomb, I should say, is that it's like this love-hate thing in regards to their relationship, which is literally their song, right? Like, literally half the lyrics in English are about how much they hate each other and wish they weren't together, and then the other half is about how much they love each other, right? It's like this horribly toxic relationship, which I don't think anyone, I'm sorry if you are into this, but I don't think anyone should make into something that's actually a good thing to strive for, this horribly toxic love-hate relationship. It's just not how healthy, good relationships work. And look, I'm the last person that you should be listening to for that kind of thing. I'm here to talk about bloody TV shows and movies, but the reality is that's how it goes, man. This love-hate thing is just, it's an interesting thing to read about and see in a show, but it's so toxic and unhealthy. That, I think, Sevika and Grayson, yeah, they would never get together. Sevika would hate Grayson for who she is and what she stands for. Grayson would probably look quite lowly on Sevika, especially for what she does to my boy, Vander. My God. Caitlyn, Mel. I might leave that in B right now. So, Caitlyn and Mel kind of makes sense. Bear with me. Because Mel could potentially see could see the potential in Caitlyn and try and shape and guide her. It's the same kind of idea with Jayce, where it's like someone who's a little bit younger, who's a little bit naive to particular things, who, she takes over the Kiriman estate, and Mel, who's incredibly wealthy and powerful and is already a council member, kind of swoops in to not only take advantage of her and put her in her back pocket, but to pretend to be in this relationship with her, much like she does with Jayce, and then could slowly evolve feelings for Caitlyn over time. It's kind of like the complete opposite of what Ambisa does with Caitlyn, where Mel would be playing her like she does with Jayce, and then maybe actually form a respectful romantic relationship with them. I don't mind this. I'll be honest. I don't actually mind that. You know, you need a little bit of headcanon there, but there are elements there that do make a little bit of sense. So that's not the most like disturbing ship we've seen so far. You know, that works. I'll be that. Actually, you know what? I'm a that. I'm a that. In fact, I like it. I can see it. And I mean, you know, the more minge munching we can get in the show, the better, right? Right, fellas? Alrighty. Connell and Philip. What, I mean, what the... Yeah. Yes. This might be a shock to you, but Vi and Powder's parents work. They are in an actual relationship and have 2 children and tragically die. Yes. Why is this here? I mean, I guess, again, we have actual relationships here, but some of them are actual ships originally that turned into relationships in the show. Strange. I don't know. I'm not entirely sure what we're doing there, but whatever. Let me have another little sip of this before we get back into this cringe. Oh, man. That hits my spots. Okay. Ekko and Scar. Look, I mean, does it work? Yeah, I mean, it can work. Like, they're both doing quote-unquote noble things, and I say quote-unquote because the show obviously wants them to be like the good noble guys, but it's really fantasy nonsense. Oh, it's just so lovely here. Like, okay, all right, that's how the world works, pal. Anyway, you know, they're trying to make this home for themselves and for their people, and they work together. There is a little bit of a power dynamic there where it's like Jeepers Ekko's a little bit above him, but it's also like not like a bloody he's the wealthiest dude and Scar like is on salary for him. They just kind of, it's like Robin Hood type crew. Would they smash booties? Potentially. Maybe that's where the Bat Baby came from, you know. But look, it's not, you know, Ekko and Scar, it makes sense. Like, I can see why people would ship them. It doesn't work for me fully like some of these higher up ones, but it's also not like what are we doing, like a lot of these ones in C. Jace and Silco. What the hell? Nah. You have characters like Vi and Caitlyn that work. They are opposite ends of the spectrum in regards to like politics and where they're from, etc., etc. That is a hard thing to put onto someone like Silco, though, right? Because Vi and Caitlyn are young. They're young ideologues. Things change. People grow and adapt. Silco is an older man set in his ways. I don't think there's a huge amount of things that can change that unless it's his daughter, Jinx, which is a big sticking point for him in his decision-making, of course. Would he just turn around and start Mac Daddying Jayce? I don't think. That's a bit of a big leap and a stretch into the what are we doing WTF territory. That is not only not going to work, I don't think Silco would ever go there, and I don't think Jayce would ever go there in a million years. Like, Jayce obviously looks down on Silco a lot, and Silco looks down on Jayce a lot. They don't respect each other at all. And look, if you want to talk about some toxic daddy relationship, that shit don't work for me. Sorry. Again, any kind of like really toxic relationship is going to rank very lowly, because I'm not at all interested in any of that. Silco and Marcus, jeepers, God. I mean, taking advantage, sure, it's pretty gross, but it's not like unfathomable. Again, though, it's like Marcus to me is like the situation with Singed, right? As I said before, like Marcus had a love and had a daughter, and then that's kind of it. Like, I don't think either of them would be interested, both Marcus or Singed, entering any form of relationship after that. It would have to be something pretty special for that to happen, and Silco, sorry, I love you, but my brother in Christ, you ain't that special. And you don't really fit with Marcus, because it would literally just be Silco taking advantage of Marcus, which is pretty gross. Caitlyn and Sevika. So we can see that from the fight that they have, that Sevika's definitely into it. that little cheeky grin she gets when Caitlyn num-noms on her hand. It's another one of those things where that relationship isn't going to be super strong for me, nor is it going to make a huge amount of sense. And that's kind of like, it's kind of my thing. If it makes sense, I'll understand why people ship it. If it doesn't, it's like, ugh. These are just two characters with names that breathe. And Sevika is a bit too set in her ways, in my opinion. Again, it's not Sevika dating Cassandra, the council member, but still, it's not a WTF, what are we doing, but it's not a very interesting relationship to me. So it's Vander and Grayson. Megan, I'm doing this for you. Doing this for you, babe. Look at that. There you go. Vander and Grayson makes sense to me. They already have a relationship that would work if they were in a romantic or sexual relationship. The deal that they clearly have going on in the background, there was obviously a lot of meetings and conversations for something like that to happen. Could a romance have spurred on from that? Maybe. Would Grayson have been a good mother to the kids? Absolutely. And again, it's not this crazy opposite ideology. It's like Vander and Grayson both understand that they're the same people living on two opposite sides of a bridge. That's why they have such a good working, quote-unquote, relationship with each other. They have a deal. I think, if I remember correctly from Season 1, the deal is Vander keeps the crime out of Piltover and Grayson keeps the enforcers out of Zorn. Again, that is not something that happens overnight with one conversation, right? There has to be a huge amount of trust and faith on both parties for such a thing to happen. Now, could that lead to a, again, romantic relationship between the two? I think so. Does it work? I think so. And I think Vander and Grayson, both of their voice actors, are amazing. So, how's about we have a minge munching scene between those two? God, I can barely read that. What is that? Singed and Heimerdinger. What? Singed and Heimerdinger, bro. What? Oh, man. Yeah, the guy that got kicked out of the academy and disgraced for his, horrible practices. Yeah, bro, Heimerdinger's gonna be smashing that booty. Nah, bro, what? That's not an absolutely not for me, but that's like a what? That's a WTF. That's an easy WTF. What? Dude, no. Heimerdinger is just way, no, bro. Heimerdinger was willing to watch Viktor die of fantasy cancer because he doesn't like magic and shit. Do you think he's gonna just be chill with what Singed is doing? Dude, nah. What? No. WTF? I literally have nothing else to say about that. That is crazy to me. Singed and Heimerdinger.
Oh, Singed, I must admit, I did prefer you when half of your face was there, but you're still a beautiful boy. Now come cuddle with me, darling.
What do we do? What? No. Ugh. No, thank you. It's bad enough. The fact that Babette exists is bad enough. All right? Hopefully there's not too many Heimerdinger ships here. We don't have many left, so. Ran and Sevika. Okay, so literally we are scraping the bottom of the barrel. Ran, the Silco goon from Season 1 who we see in the background 2 or 3 times, or more than that, she's in the background a lot, but focused on a few times. No lines of dialogue in Sevika. Really, this is getting into desperation territory. Again, I do not know Ran's character, aside from the fact that, like Sevika, she is a goon that works for Silco. And, you have to be a pretty specific type of individual to happily work with Silco. I know Sevika's character enough, but Ran, bro. This is, again, it's literally, these characters have names. Let's ship them. Okay. Oh, dude. Sure. Sure, it exists. Ran has an interesting look, I guess. But that's, what are we doing? Yeah, I'm leaving that in C. Mel and Silco. What? No? Nah. That just wouldn't work. Again, we have relationships of opposite ideologies that work, like Caitlyn and Vi, and Mel and Jace. And then we have opposite ideologies that will constantly clash, like Mel and Silco. It'll be incredibly toxic. Nah, I might even WTF that, because that's like, no, dude. Why? Why are we even wanting the little sickly twink Silco to smash Mel? What? Vander and Felicia. Ooh. Maybe. This is like an actual... Okay, so this is an actual interesting thing to talk about. Did Felicia, did she cheat on, what's his name, Connell? And is Vi and potentially Powder his daughter? Did she double cheat? And is Silco actually Jinx's dad? I don't even want to think about that. Like, way to, like, oh my god, like, to ruin the relationship between Vander and Vi and Vander and Powder. What a way to do that, hey? Yeah, Vander was actually secretly Vi's daddy, and Silco was actually secretly Jinx's daddy, and it all just worked out. How wonderful. No, just no. No thanks. Simple as that. Again, it's not a WTF. I can see it. I can see why people would go down that route. But it really doesn't work for me because, again, it spoils the adoptive father relationship on both Vander and then Silco as well. No thanks. Could they be smashing booties behind Connell's back? Maybe. Do I want to think about that anymore? No. Ambisa and Caitlyn. Damn. There are some big age gaps here, guys. The biggest, of course, being Singed and Heimerdinger, unironically. Ambisa and Caitlyn, like Ambisa would like look at Caitlyn like her little plaything that she's molding, and then like Caitlyn will have too many edges in regards to being able to be easily manipulated, and it wouldn't work. It's the clashing ideology. Again, Ambisa is a Noxian general, Noxus bad, like... Noxus bad. I know they don't exactly explain that overly well in the show, but Noxus bad. People from Noxus generally pretty bad. They're expansionists. They will take your home and your territory and kill everyone there if they have to. Like, yeah, look, those two are going to clash way too much for them to be in a romantic or sexual relationship. Vi and Maddie, again, it's Maddie Maddie can't be shipped. I'm sorry, she's unshippable. Because the Maddie that you want to ship doesn't exist. She is a agent. She is a Noxian plant, a Noxian spy, a Noxian agent. She's pretend. The Maddie that you potentially want to see in a relationship with Vi does not exist. It is an act. So is the ship, oh, I'd love to see the Noxian spy. How that would go with... No, of course that's not what the ship is. It's about the Maddie character that you know before the bloody 180 shift. No bueno. Doesn't work for me. Anything really Maddie related doesn't work for me. It's not a WTF. Again, I can see why people would do it, but... It's just not going to work. Mel Grayson? Oh, yeah. Again, it's a pretty big age gap. Like, Mel's more powerful than Grayson. Would Grayson find that attractive? I don't think so. Again, we know barely anything about Grayson as a character. Yes, she's not overly impressed by wealth and power in that regard, but, you know, it still exists. Maybe Grayson, you know, in her older age, is well aware of how horrendous Noxus is and maybe doesn't trust Mel because, you know, anyone with that can read a book should know how horrible Noxus is. Yeah, I mean, I get, it's one of those, like, I've said it 20 times doing this tier list. I understand why people have put these people in a relationship because they both have names that you can spell and they both breathe. So it's like, oh, I wonder what that would be like. Does it work for me? No. Might work for you. Not for me, thanks. Mel and Scott, again, like, sorry, but we're in the realm of this character has a functioning vag. So let's see what happens if someone else with a particular... Look, no. Sky has, like, 2 lines of freaking dialogue in the whole of Season 1, and then she's zippity-zappity turned to Ash, and then Sky that we know in Season 2 might not even be Sky. Dude. Like, there's nothing for me to ship. How do people... this is just such a visual thing, isn't it? It's literally just the visual of these two. Like, what is there to ship? Mel has plenty of character that we can talk about that is ship-worthy. Sky, she's hot. She's hotter without glasses. She's kind of smart. She's dead. Ooh, that's really hot. Like, what are we doing, man? Silco and Finn. Silco and Finn. I mean, that's not a WTF. Like, I can see it. Again, it's just one of those things you can see it. Do I like it? No. Do I think it makes sense for the characters? No. But at least with this, I can see people shipping them because there is interaction there. There is a relationship, quote unquote, there. It's not a good one, obviously, but there is something there. Again, like Mel, Sky, they've never had a conversation, and frankly, Sky's barely had a conversation with anyone because she has half of a line and then she's turned to dust. Ooh, what a character. We've got Vi. What? Out of all the thruples we could have, Vi, Sevika, and Caitlyn, are you serious? Why? Like it's one of those things. Like, I can see Vi and Sevika. I can't see Caitlyn and Sevika. But again, it's just one of those things where Vi's not going to share Caitlyn, I don't think, and Caitlyn's definitely not going to share Vi. I don't believe. Do they need a big muscle-bound mummy in between them? No. Oh, that's in WTF. Again, I can see why people do it, but does that make it right? No. That's the cringe one done, guys. Yay, we did it. Yahoo, yahoo, we did it. Okay, so let's go through it, and then we'll move right along, okay, folks? So we've got Vi and Caitlyn. So actual relationship, we've got Vi and Caitlyn, obviously. Mel and Jace, obviously. Caitlyn and Maddie, obviously. Tobias and Cassandra, they're literally married with a child, obviously. Connell and Felicia, they have kids, obviously. So the only S tier, and this probably isn't a surprise to anybody because I have talked about this on the stream before, the only S tier we have, and you will be happy to see it, Megan, when you do, Vander and Grayson. I like it. It makes sense. It is 2 characters that aren't remotely in that kind of relationship where it could actually work. I like it. I appreciate it. We've got Ekko and Powder, and that is episode 7 Ekko from the Alt universe, not our Ekko, and Powder. Yeah, I like it. It's cute. It's nice. You know, I have somewhat of a heart left, so, you know, when I see a cute little relationship like that, it's nice. I can appreciate it. Silco, Sevika, again, I can see it. So, like, I can see that motherly, not a great one, but motherly role that, again, not a good one, that Sevika could take in that relationship. And potentially already has in some regard. Caitlyn, Mel, again, it's like that Jace dynamic for me. It kind of makes sense in a way. Then we've got Jayvik and B, Sky and Victor and B, Vi and Sevika and B, and Ekko and Scar and B. Again, that's like, you know, it kind of works. I can see why people are doing it. I'm not super hot on it, but it's perfectly fine. In C, we've got a lot of like, because that was like the lowest we could go before we got into the bad stuff. So Ekko, Jinx, sorry, Timebomb, doesn't work for me. Sorry. And again, it is Arcane's Ekko and Jinx that we see culminating in episode 9. Does it work? Absolutely not. We've got Jace, Mel and Victor. We've got Mel and Sevika, Mel and Victor, Silco and Victor, Caitlyn, Vi and Maddie, Mel and Lest, Scar and Steb, Silco and Singed, Ambisa and Sevika, Grayson and Cassandra, Mel and Allora, Sevika and Grayson, Silco Marcus, Caitlyn Sevika, Ran and Sevika. Again, it's like you're shipping characters that literally have 0 lines of dialogue. What are you doing? Vander and Felicia, Vi, Sevika and Caitlyn, Ambisa and Caitlyn, Vi and Maddie, Mel and Grayson, Mel and Sky, Silco and Finn, and in the WTF we have Jinx and Caitlyn, No, absolutely not. Jinx and Victor, absolutely not. Jace and Caitlyn, no, 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 no. We've got Jace and Silco, absolutely not. Singed and Heimerdinger, what? Where did that come from? Mel and Silco, that ain't gonna work. And then, yeah, our proper absolutely nots are Silco Vander, no thank you, never ever want to see that. Jinx and Sevika, absolutely not. And Milo Cleger, WTF were you thinking when you shipped the two brothers?